Hello and welcome back to episode 58 of St Albans FC Take to the Skies. And this is the video I'm recording the morning after England beat Denmark in the European Championship semi-finals. Let me know your predictions of the final on Sunday. Let me know what you thought of the game last night for me, 2 days ago for you. I absolutely lost my mind when Kane scored from that penalty rebound. I still don't fully believe that we're in the final. It's been a journey. But one more game, one more win, and it's coming home. Come on, England. Now on to more pressing matters, we'll say. We've got the start of the season for St Albans FC. We started away to Northampton, and we've had a very tough draw in the EFL Cup first round against Portsmouth, a championship team. Walsall have picked up the first win of the season, starting off strongly. Northampton, of course, one of the teams that were very close to relegation last year, so in theory, a decent game for us to start off with. We predicted 20th for this season, which has dropped a little bit in the pre-season, which I think we're better than that. Promoted were Aldershot and Bromley, who I'm surprised at how high they are. Coming down were Wycombe, Blackpool, Cheltenham and Rochdale. Scunthorpe got to the playoff final and lost in the final, which was incredibly unlucky. 2-1 they lost, so they nearly got those two promotions in a row. Didn't quite come off. But of course, we've got transfers to look at. Luckily, they all fit just above my head. So first of all, we got rid of Zuriel Otsataiwo. £21,000. Came in on free last year, and then we switched to this 5-2-3 with the wing backs. He's not good at crossing. He's not good at being a wing back, so off he went. We made money on him. Happy with it. Then we've bought in and sent out Kineen, a right winger. Lots of potential. He's coming on free from Derby. We've sent him out to Slough for a year to develop him. Does look quite good already, so hopefully a year out on loan he'll come back and be ready to be in the first team. We have unfortunately seen Kai Sanders leave, a guy who's been with us since the start of the save, and for a good number of years he was starting left back, usually with Longello further up the pitch, and then he didn't feature much in our promotion year. Featured a bit more last year, but obviously we did have Wellington Louise pick up that nasty injury, which did increase it a little bit. We've bought in new signings. Unfortunately, there's not really a place for him anymore, and it was a free transfer, but I thought, well, he's not going to be playing much for us. I want to see him be able to go and play football, so we let him go. Then we had Hayden Carter, who has gone to Blackpool. Again, bought him in on a free from Northampton 3 years ago. He played a lot in the first season, but he didn't really play after that. I just couldn't really fit him in the team anywhere. 14.25 thousand, so decent bit of profit on him. He's a weird one because he was a centre back at 6'2", so he's quite tall, but he just always seemed to be a bit lacking in the air for me. He didn't really fit as a holding midfielder, especially once we brought Torre in, so let him go. Got a nice bit of profit on him. And also, Bradley Rolt has headed out for a new team in York. That was on a free transfer. He was on a non-contract with us, so it was always a risk. But again, he had a couple of good years with us. Promotion year, he was fantastic. But then last year, obviously, we had Bennett in, and 3 goals in 18. Not really good enough. Was it that he was a bit disrupted by not playing enough? Maybe. But he never really got going, so we let him go. And moving on to incoming transfers, which is a bit more interesting. We have a holding midfielder and centre-back in Saul Milovanovic coming in from Dover. He's not great. Director of Football did this one. He's somebody who can probably be a backup. I believe that's what he was signed for. Where do you see that? I don't remember where you see what you've agreed with them. It's not too important. He's going to be a backup player, whatever the agreement is. And then most of them, as you can see, showing from last season. First of all, although he's not a new signing, Dan Morgan has come back from a season on loan with Kings Lynn. He didn't play as often as I would have liked him to. I think he did go in January though. Yeah, he did. So he's had a decent year there. Couple of goals, couple of assists. Little bit average, but you know, that's still an improvement over not playing. And he does look like he's going to be a very good player for us. Then you've got to go all the way down to Martin Pring to find the next player that we've signed. Well, the first player that we've actually signed this summer. On a free transfer from Man City. He's only 18. Mazzala. So obviously going to be an improvement on Woods, hopefully. Does look quite well rounded. Obviously lots of potential. If we have a look, potential Premier League central midfielder in the future. So ideally he sticks around with us for a number of years. But worst case scenario is, yeah, we have got a minimum fee release clause because he demanded it. I don't mind that because as much as I would like to keep him, it means we've got something where we can say to him, you know, well, when somebody meets your clause, you can go. And we can always try and negotiate that out of the contract if we move up the divisions sooner rather than later. If not, we can still make quite a bit of money on him. Then we have Anthony Devani, the guy who's going to be replacing Rolt and Bennett up front. He's coming from Chelsea. 7 goals for their, I assume, under-18s. And again, very well-rounded for an advanced forward. If we have a look at pressing forward, which is what we use at the minute, his aggression's a little bit down, but other than that, quite good. 6 foot. If we can develop his pace and strength a little bit, he could be a phenomenal player. And you could possibly look at an inside forward role for him in the future. No release clause on him, so we've just got him for the time being. It's on a 1-year contract for now because striker I think is a position where we need to make sure long term, before we sign a long-term contract, we need to know they're the one. But hopefully he'll be a very good signing for us. Kineen we've already had a little look at, so we'll just get past him. Junior Nisingi has come in. He can play on the right wing or as a striker. My concern about him as a striker, as you can see, 9 finishing. Not ideal. Coming out free from Manchester United. Minimum fee release clause, 500,000. So again, you know, he's got the advantage of being, if we do sell him, he's going to go for money. Premier League right winger in the future. He's agreed to play up front for us this year. So I hadn't actually put it in. We're going to get him working on his shooting because we want that finishing to be sorted out. But hopefully he'll be developing into a very good player for us. Then we have from Bristol Rovers, Ryan Jones, a left wing back. The guy who's basically here to replace Sanders. He's not been playing for Bristol in League One. I'm not entirely sure why. Because he does look quite good already. He's probably going to be our backup left wing back to Sefton Cliff, who we'll get to shortly. But still, he's a good player and he's got the option to play on the left wing as well if we need him to. So that nice bit of versatility, similar to what we had back when Longjello was at the club. Then Sefton Cliff who I just referenced, a left wing back coming on free from Fulham. As you can see, quite suited to that wing back position. We'll be getting him training on it as well. At Fulham, he played quite a few games in their under 23s, scored a few goals, and hopefully he'll be a very solid addition to the squad, particularly with Luis still out for another couple of months. Well, about a month before he's back in full training. Then we've got to develop his fitness. So Sefton Cliff looking very good. And then finally we had David Kennedy, who's come in on loan from Accrington Stanley. We did try to get Knightbridge back on loan, but West Ham accepted it. Knightbridge rejected. So we've had to look for a new goalkeeper. This is kind of the only guy I could find to bring in. Doesn't look quite as good as Knightbridge, but with that back five that we're playing at the minute, I think we've got that bit of extra protection for him. So hopefully he'll be well protected and not have to face too many shots, which will kind of balance it out. And hopefully he's a little bit better than what we initially see there. And with a bit of luck, we've got a good signing there. That is all the transfers to go through there. So we'll get into the first game of the season against Northampton. And before we get into that, please do leave a like, comment and subscribe. Any support is greatly appreciated. We're on 52 subscribers at the minute. It's been great. I really appreciate all the support. If we can push towards the 100 now, that'd be fantastic. Let's get into it. And the lineup for the first game of the new season, we've got Kennedy in goal, a back three of Quinn, York and Rosette, Laird at right wing back, Cliff at left wing back. Then we've got Torre and Pring in the midfield, Cotterill at right wing, Mafurin on the left and Nasingi up front. What is this organisation? It has the three centre backs, then right wing back, centre mid, left winger, left wing back, centre mid, striker. Don't know what that's about. Looks like they're lining up in a 3-5-2 themselves. So similar formations, with just they've gone with an extra man in midfield. Hopefully it won't matter and we'll be able to pick up the win today and start our season on a good result. And let's see how we get on. First highlight now. Laird throws it into Cotterill with 42 minutes into the game. Back to Laird. And he gets past his man, gets a crossing. And Nasingi, on his debut, gets a goal and put us 1-0 up. I doubted his finishing ability. And the first chance that we've seen in a highlight, he's put it in the bottom corner. What a start to his St Albans career. Two former Manchester United players linking up there. I don't think Laird would have been there at the same time, but nevertheless, 1-0. And at half-time, it remains 1-0. That chance from Laird, very well created, very good on the XG. We're very slightly in control of the game. Possession is very even, but overall I'd say we've slightly edged that first half. Hopefully we can get a bit more control throughout the second half. If we look at the analytical data, you can see we've had 2 shots inside the box and then the one from outside the box. So technically not Nasingi's first shot, but it's the first one we saw, so we'll count it. Throwing now for Northampton. It's gone to Howe and to Lewis, back to White. Samuel trying to get space. Lewis back to Samuel. And Robinson strikes and puts it in the bottom corner. 25 yards out. A little bit disappointing to concede like that. I don't like conceding goals from outside the box like that. I always think it's a little bit disappointing. And yeah, it's not really right in the corner. Bit disappointing there. Going to make our first change just before the hour mark. Cotterill has not got into this game at all. So we're going to send Lopez on that right hand side for him. And our next change, 70 minutes gone now. We're going to send Morgan on in the midfield to be the Mazzala. Pring not quite hit the ground running like Nasingi did, so we'll give Morgan a chance on his return from the loan. We've got a highlight here. York heads out to Cliff, who's brought it down quite nicely. Plays it forward to Mafurin, who's got past his man. He's got a lot of men with him. Mafurin cuts inside and it's a poor shot in the end. Late highlight here. Lewis sends a free kick in. Lopez does well to head it away. And Lewis is going to pick that up. A little bit of pressure from Nasingi, but Walker then plays it forward. Samuel puts it wide, but he was offside and it looked very clear. And our final change of the day, we're going to actually go for a little bit of a formation change. Davani on for Mafurin, and then he's going to go up front with Nasingi. Lopez is going to go into this holding mid position, into the number 10 position, I should say. And then Davani is going to go and be the advanced forward alongside Nasingi, and let's just see if we can nick a late goal. And unfortunately on the first day of the season it wasn't to be. We controlled the game really. They had, particularly that second half, you can see our XG goes up far more than theirs does, but we just weren't able to find another goal unfortunately. I would be interested in trying Nasingi on the right with Davani up front, especially if Cotterill's going to give performances like that. But that's something we'll experiment with over the coming games. But a decent start to the season. We would have liked to win, but a draw away from home isn't horrendous. So, you know, we've started the season with a point, and hopefully by the time you come back to us, we'll have picked up a few wins. So I think what we'll do, we're going to actually skip a bit of time. We're going to hope we win that game against Portsmouth. I normally show that type of game, but it's one game, and I don't really want to just play one game off camera. It seems a little bit pointless to me. So we'll come back somewhere around Salford and Bolton, somewhere in that area, depending on if we've got an EFL Cup second round. We may come back for that. We'll see where it falls and see. We're just gonna go with the flow. See how we feel. Hopefully, because normally I try and record a day or so in advance. As you know, I've done that today. Ideally, I want to record Monday's episode on Monday so that you can get a Euro reaction as well the day after. So that's my plan there. So I'm going to break my usual scheduling for a one-off Euro reaction special. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like. Comment your prediction for England's game against Italy on Sunday. Subscribe if you're enjoying the series. We're going to push on towards that 75 and then 100 subscribers now. Thank you very much for watching.